And there we go. Welcome, my friends, and welcome back to the Krieg Dominion. I am Omar Krieg, your Lord and Commander of the Krieg Dominion, and your host for this, the Operation... Oh my god, this is going to be a really long title, so bear with me. Operation Revival, Divergence, Placement Trials, Round 1, Match Resolution, and then we will do, once we finish that, we will do the Round 2 Match Draws. That will be all streamed and recorded and thrown out onto the YouTube, and then everybody will get a chance to figure out how they want to make their challenges and whatnot. Where to begin? Well, first, let me grab this right quick. Get this going. Goodness gracious. Okay, 1 second. Sorry, guys. I had problems with my password Twitch earlier. Now I'm having to relog into literally everything in order to get into my Twitch. It's super annoying. But thankful, that we have that sort of security. Anyway, so we have 4 non-player clan units that need to conduct their 4 matches of non-player clans that need to conduct their matches, so we know who moves on and who does not. We'll be starting that in just a moment. But once we complete that, we will also look at where the clans sit, who has how many points and all that stuff. And then from there, we will move into the final bit for the night, which will be the match draws, which will be done randomly. And so that way players and viewers and whomever else will know who's fighting whom in the second round for the placement trials. So let's go ahead and get started. As you can see, I've got this nifty little table here. Nothing crazy. Really cool graphic. This is, of course, a graphic from the cover of the PDF, or I guess the hard copy as well, but for the book, Historical Turning Points, Operation Revival Placement Trials, or whatever the exact name is. I modified the cover slightly. I think there's a bit more like up here. We got the Catalyst logo and all that stuff too. But of course, the Clan Dagger Star with bullets through it. I like it. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. So our first group is, let me get into my thing here. So we have Clan Blood Spirit. Ooh, I gotta increase the size of these against Smoke Jaguar. Okay. And let's go ahead and just do this right now. Make it much bigger. All right. All right. So this is gonna be a simple resolution process. I'm just gonna roll a bunch of dice, and whatever happens happens. So, but there are a couple things that we need to talk about first. Let me go ahead and unlock this so I can scale this up, make it slightly larger, easier to read. So 1d6. Oh, wow. Okay, there we go. 1d6 versus 1d6. Higher result wins. Obviously, +1 for skill or weight difference as needed. If the difference between the two rolls is more than 3, we roll the red die, and the mech is permanently destroyed on a 4, but on a 4+. And if permanently destroyed, then we roll the black die, which is then on a 3+, the pilot is killed. Which are these dice they're these dice here. So we've got 5 dice on one side, 5 dice on the other side. Obviously, this represents the star of each of the clan's peoples. So in this case, the Blood Spirits and the Smoke Jags. And basically, they're just going to line up one after the other, and just whichever number gets the higher roll wins. And then based on however many points per kill, we'll determine which clan wins that match. Now, I also have here my little cheat sheet of notes for what forces are actually deployed, which will be interesting because in one match we have 3 mediums taking on 2 mediums and 3 lights as one of the trial matches, because the one clan unit doesn't have any lights, so they just went with that. We'll talk about that when we get to that particular section. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select all these dice, and I'm going to roll them. And then, in this case, both the Blood Spirits and the Smoke Jags have equal skill level, so there's no bonuses there. And then we just start looking. So we take our first pairing. That is a 6-1 in favor of the Smoke Jags. So we'll go, whoops. So let me do this. We'll pull this off to the side. Now, that's a 5-point difference there. So we're going to roll this guy. And on a 4+, that mech is automatically destroyed. That mech is destroyed. Because that mech is destroyed, on a 3+, the pilot is killed. The pilot is not killed. And that's pretty much how we resolve this. So first we have, this is going to be 3 points plus 1 for the kill. The second one, only a 2-point difference. It's going to be 2 points there. Blood Spirits get a 2-point lead there. So they get 2 points for that match, or that duel. This is a tie. We're going to re-roll. And we have a 4-point variance there. So they're going to get 2 points. Now we see if we get, oops. That is definitely a kill. A mech perma-destroyed, rather. And now if the pilot is killed, pilot is not killed. And then lastly, 1 point here for the Smoke Jags, because that was that. Okay, so we have on the one team for the Blood Spirits, they've got, let's see, how do I want to do this so I can represent things for the people? Yeah, we'll just do this. So they didn't win. They didn't win. They didn't win. They didn't win. Okay. So effectively what you have here, and then this is, it's going to be 4 points. This is going to be 2 points. And this is going to be 1 point. This is going to be 2 points and 3 points. That's what that's pretty smart. So we get a total of, over here we have a total of 5. Over here we have a total of 7. So 7-5 Smoke Jaguars win in the first round trials against the Blood Spirits. And that's pretty much it. I will have to take out mechs that are enemy mechs that are destroyed from my rosters that I totally did not remember to open, even though I was supposed to. I'll take care of that off screen, I guess. All right, so let's go ahead and reset this. So we've got it reset. We have 3 more matches to do. This won't take long, and thus this stream won't be terribly long. We've got Clan Burrock, or Burrick, or however you want to say it, versus Clan Hell's Horses. Again, I need to increase the size of these icons. When I had this made for the other, I had a different table set up, and I realized I didn't like the way that looked. And so I changed the table, but it didn't account for the size of the what's dealies here. All right, so this is Clan Hell's Horses versus Clan Burrock. Clan Hell's Horses will have a +1 on each of their individual dice rolls as far as the 5 dueling mechs. So because they are an elite, the 11th Mechanized Cavalry Cluster is an elite unit versus the Clan Burrocks, which I want to say is like the 206th Burrock Cluster or something or other, but they're veterans. At any rate, let's go ahead and roll these dice. And then for each of these, I'm going to increase it by 1. So that becomes a 4, that becomes 2, that becomes 2, that becomes 5, and that becomes a 2. And now we take the new score. So 6-4, 4-2, 6-2. We got some extra rolls to make. Okay, good to go. And then this one, now we have another one. There's a 3-point difference there. That mech is destroyed. That is a Outbound Light mech destroyed. Real quick, let's actually before I do that, pilot survives, and then this one, that was a 62, so we got to roll this guy again. That is a mech destroyed. And then 3+, pilot killed. All right, so it looks like the Clan Burrocks defeated Hell's Horses. But let's take a look at the points. So starting on the left side there, Brock gaining 2 points, 2 points, and 1 point. That mech was destroyed. They get 1 point plus 1. They get 1 point plus 1. So by an almost completely unanimous decision there, I don't know if unanimous is really the right word, by almost complete shutout, we end up with a score of, let me see, 2-1 and 2 to a score of 2. So we end up with a score of 7-2 in favor of Burrock Clan. Which is funny because they are going to get annihilated in the main storyline. But who knows? Maybe Clan Burrock ends up becoming the ill clan. Wouldn't that be weird? Also, really felt weird just to say that. But that takes care of that. So the next up, we've got the Ice Hellions taking on Goliath Scorpions. We'll do that one before we do the other one, the one that has the weird setting. Let's see. So let's do this. Ice Hellion and what did I just say? Goliath Scorpion. Just make that slightly bigger. Ice Hellion here, Goliath Scorpion there. So for this one, both stars are equal in skill, so we don't have to add any modifiers. So let's just go ahead and roll the dice and see what comes up. Okay. So that's a 3-point difference. And that is a heavy on heavy, so that's going to be at least 3 points. Okay, just 3 points. That is a medium on medium, so that's going to be 2 points. Let's see, this is a tie. We're going to re-roll it. Again, re-roll it. And a big win there. 4+. Mech is destroyed, so that's going to be, that's the third one. It's medium, so that's going to be 3 points. Let's see, roll for the pilot kill. Oh, pilot is killed. Okay. So that's the Goliath Scorpion's third mech is destroyed and pilot killed. Okay. And then we have 2 point here, so that's a medium, so that's 2 points. And then the last one, another medium, so that's also 2 points. Hold on. Oh, never mind. Okay. All right, so unfortunately, Goliath Scorpions lose that. It looks like we've got a total of 10-2. Ice Hellions crushing the Goliath Scorpions, which feels weird. You wouldn't think the Scorpions... I mean, they had to have cheated. They've had to have cheated, because otherwise the Scorpions should have won. The Ice Hellions are kind of weird in the way they do things. I don't know how else to explain it. They have weird ideas about Zellbriggen. All right, let's load this back up. Oops, go back. Okay, and for our final matchup, we've got Clan Fire Mandrill versus Clan Ghostbear. So let's boost these icons up a bit so we can see who's who. And then I'm going to take these two right off the board. So this is the way this is going to work. The Ghost Bears have a +1 for all of their mechs, but the one medium mech, this guy, will have a +1 over his light opponents that he will face one at a time to represent the slightly better weight class of medium versus light. So this is going to be a little bit wonky. We're going to get through it though. So starting right off the top, roll all the dice. Ghost Bears automatically get the +1 to all dice rolls. So 6, 3, 3, 5. He gets a 3 there. So that means, let's take care of these. So first we have 5 to 3. That mech is, oops, took off the wrong. So that mech is destroyed. Not destroyed, but defeated. And that first mech was a heavy mech, so that's a 2, but it's also, because it's the first mech, it's going to be the Star Commander mech, and it's +1 for the Star Commander. Next we have mediums. So this is going to be a 2 over here. This guy gets removed. And then we have this guy. This is going to be a reroll. Both. I'm not going to change the numbers. They're both effectively +1, so it cancels out. And that is a 3+ difference. Mech destroyed. Pilot is okay. So that was against a light mech. First one destroyed. So that's going to be 2 points. So let's take this over here. Put that there. Now we have, I'm going to re-roll this guy and give him a +1 against this roll of a 3. So basically I need a 3 or better to beat him. So that's going to be a 3, which means now he's tied. We're going to re-roll. No additions here. Oof. This freaking Mandrill pilot is good. He didn't get that kill, so that's just going to be a 1. And then against this final guy of a 5. Oh, I'm going to re-roll that just because I didn't have it selected very well. Okay, 6 to 5. You know what? I'm going to re-roll both of them just for a final, like, tiebreaker. Like, I don't know if I did that very well in any fair sense, so we're going to re-roll both. No additions. Final answer stands. Tied. Tied again. Ghost Bear almost walked away with that one. Alright. Ghost Bear does not walk away with that one. That's a 3+. So is it a kill? It is a mech kill. Or mech destroyed. Is it a pilot kill? It is not a pilot kill. Alright, so that becomes a 2. That goes over here. These 3 are out. And unfortunately, this hurts me deeply to think that the Mandrills, the most chaotic and unorganized and fractious clan of all, a microcosm of the clans, in fact, defeats the elite 3rd Ghost Bear guards. It breaks me to admit this out loud. It really does. But the Ghost Bears lose in their first round fight. We end up with a score of 8 to 2, it looks like, for the Mandrills, which is fucking scary as far as I'm concerned. So that completes all matches of the first round. What we're going to do now is we're going to move into, well, I guess prep for the match draw. First thing we have to do is figure out which of the clans are in which bracket. So everything on this side here, in fact, let's do this. Let's do components, let's do chess, let's do metal. Where is the king? Why can't I see the king? Here he is. Right there. And then we're going to make the king massive. So if you're in the king side of the board, you know what? I don't want to use that one. Get out of here. I want to use plastic, wood, I suppose. Stands out a little bit better. And then make that massive. And then if you're the pawn over here, it's the loser side. All right. So we know Clan Novacat won their trial. We know the Mandrills just won their trial. The Blood Spirits did not, so they're going to go to the loser side. Ghost Bears lost. They're on the loser side, which is so unfortunate. Goliath Scorpion lost. They're on the loser side. The Diamond Sharks lost. I believe they fought the Novacats. Who is this? Steel Viper. They lost their fight. Jade Falcon lost their fight. Coyotes won their fight, if I'm not mistaken, because they took on Steel Vipers. Yep. So the Coyotes got it. The Smoke Jaguars won theirs, so they're over on that side. Ice Hellion won theirs. Hell's Horses lost theirs. So, and now for those that are wondering, because if you look, you've got 5 clans on the winning side and 7 on the losing side. That almost doesn't add up. Hang on. 1, 2, 3. No, that's right. 7. There should be 7 losers. There should be 6 winners. Hang on, let me check my notes here. Stand by. Definitely forgetting something here. Because the Star Adders won a match because the Star Adders played the Jade Falcons. So let me see. Nova Cats won theirs. Coyote won theirs. Star Adders won theirs. Jaguars won theirs. Burroks won theirs. Mandrills won theirs. Hellions won. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Who am I missing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so we've got the Nova Cats over there. We've got Coyotes over there. The Star Adders, but they don't count. We've got the Jaguars over there. Oh, it's Clan Burrock. Clan Burrock's not on here. That's why. Why is Clan Burrock not on here? That's the one that was missing. And of course, they don't have the same size. Let me see something really. There we go. All right. Knew something seemed a little weird. Anyway. So these 6 clans on the left side here will all have 5 points moving into the next round. They are all in the winner's bracket, and they will only face each other in the next round. And then these 1, 2, 3, 7 losing clans will be facing only each other in the next round. So this is where I got to take some notes, and it might take a minute to get everything up to speed, as it were. Let's go to here. First off, we have Nova Cats in the winner's bracket. We have Coyote. We have Smoke Jags. We have Burrock. Still feels weird to see them in the bracket. Fire Mandrill. And the Ice Hellions. In the loser's bracket so far, we have Steel Viper. We have Blood Spirit. We have Jade Falcon. We have Ghost Bear. We have Hell's Horses. We have Goliath Scorpion. And we have Diamond Shark. So, first thing we're going to figure out is the loser's bracket. We're going to dump all of these guys into our randomizer bag. We're going to make sure we shuffle the Jesus out of it. And then I'm just going to draw them out one at a time. Hunter first, hunted or prey second. and I'm going to have to write each of these down kind of quick, so bear with me as I get this set up. If you're not watching the stream, you're going to miss out until you watch it on YouTube. Anyway, drawing the first one out. That looks like Jade Falcon. Jade Falcon will be the hunter in their match against Ghost Bear. Ghost Bears will be the prey. Hell's Horses, the hunter, against the Glass Scorpions, the prey. Blood Spirit, the hunter. Diamond Shark, the prey. I dropped my pen. That leaves us with the Steel Vipers taking on the Star Adders, with the Steel Vipers as the hunter. Star Adders are a unique entry in the placement trials in that they are a proxy force. They will only be used to make sure that everybody has an opponent, and some of the rules don't apply to them. Let's do the winner's bracket now, because this will be very interesting to see how it turns out. So we've got everybody in there. We're going to shuffle the bejesus out of it. Let me put the mouse over it, make sure it stays there. And start drawing them out one at a time. Write this down really quick. All right, first up, Fire Mandrills, the hunter. Taking on Clan Coyote, the prey. Next up, Smoke Jaguar, the hunter. Taking on Ice Hellion, the prey. And then lastly, Clan Burrock, the hunter. Taking on the only one that's left, Clan Novacat, the prey. And there you have it. So again, these teams, or excuse me, these clans over here all have 5 points. If memory serves, the winner of the round 2 will receive 4 points, whether you're in the winner's bracket or the loser's bracket. If you lose a second time, so all of these losers over here, I really shouldn't call it that, but these clans, if they lose a second match, they will be removed from the placement trials, plain and simple. And then what's left will move on. And what will happen is 3 losing teams from this side will join the 4 teams over here. I keep saying teams. I mean to say clan. But basically what will happen is 3 to 4 clans will be removed from over here. 3 more will join them for the round 3. And then after round 3, these 3 clans will get basically a bye. While these, however many clans are left over on this side, duke it out, and whatever's left will move on into the finals section of the tournament. But we'll jump that bridge when we get there. So far, what we have next is Clan Fire Mandrill taking on Clan Coyote, Clan Smoke Jaguar taking on Clan Ice Hellion, Clan Burrock taking on Clan Novacat in the winners brackets. And then on the losers bracket side, we have Clan Jade Falcon fighting the Ghost Bears, Hell's Horses taking on Goliath Scorpions, the Blood Spirits and the Diamond Sharks, and the Steel Vipers taking on the Star Adders in a snake-on-snake match. Very slithery, very scaly. We'll have to see how that goes. Predictions? Do I want to do predictions? I'm pretty sure the Novacats will beat the shit out of the Burrocks. Not because that's going to be me losing to Darius, but because it's the Novacats defeating the Burrocks. I'm going strictly off canon here, so That's really where my predictions are going to be, is based on what would I expect in an actual lineup between these individual clans. So Smoke Jaguars will crush absolutely the Ice Hellions, and then the Ice Hellions will have a temper tantrum about it and probably seek many trials of refusals if they don't just come right out and start blasting anything that looks like a Jaguar. Coyotes and Mandrills, I'm just going to say the Coyotes win, only because the 38th Assault Cluster is an elite heavy and assault cluster, whereas the Fire Mandrills are basically a provisional assault cluster made up of several different Kindra, and they're not very well organized as a cohesive whole. Jade Falcons versus Ghost Bears. That's going to be a tough one. Ghost Bears are slow and methodical, very precise, very much to the point. Jade Falcons are all screechy and in your face, beat the shit out of you, and hope for the best. So I think what will happen in a strictly canon sort of thinking process, I think the Ghost Bears will win, but it'll probably be a bit of a costly match. Goliath Scorpions and Hell's Horses, frankly, I don't know enough about either one. I know traditionally the Hell's Horses have a combined arms task force mentality versus the Scorpions, who are usually something drugged out and or psychotropics or something. I don't know. So what do I think will happen? I think ultimately, I think the Hell's Horses will probably win, but I really don't know any other way to call it. I'm going off some very vague generics there. Diamond Sharks and the Blood Spirits. I'm going to go with Diamond Sharks, only because they have a proven history of doing fairly well in trials, both mercantile and militaristic. Blood Spirits, not so much. And then lastly, the Steel Viper and the Star Adder, going strictly off of what I know in canon. Unfortunately, I don't know enough about either clan, but I do know that Brett Anders, the Bloody Ilkhan, came from the Vipers, so I'm going to put my money on the Vipers. All right, that is it for this stream. We are done. 30-something minutes. 32 minutes. We resolved round one. We got an idea of where all the clans are sitting. Let me scoot this over a little bit. If you're on this side of the map, your clan is in the winner's brackets. If you're on this side of the map, you are not. That's all I can say, man. Fohammer, Woldane, sorry guys. Those matches were fun, but you guys did lose. And then Darius, you got me. But that's not unusual or unexpected. Will the Nova Cats win this next round? Probably. And I said because Darius is just a better BattleTech player than I am. And that's just the frank and honest truth. Can I possibly get something over him? Who knows? I do get to challenge him, but he also gets to set the mechs in use. So we'll see how that turns out. All right. That is it for us here tonight. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed the show. As always, you can hit all the like, subscribe, share, etc. buttons. Also, you can join us in the Discord. If you're watching during a live stream, typing !Discord will give you the server invite link. If you are watching this on YouTube, in the description below will be the server invite link there. You can come hang out on the server, talk smack with us, or hang out with us and tell us how great we are, how horrible we are, whatever the case might be. In the meantime, that is it for us here tonight. Make sure, oh God, I don't even remember how to say it anymore. I say it so often, I somehow have forgotten. Stay safe out there, my friends. This world is a crazy dark place, so make sure you're doing what you got to do to take care of you and yours. And that's for me and mine. We're out of here. See you next time. Have a good one.